everyone! Today I'm going to be doing a crochet tutorial on how to hide any tail that you have. So we're going to start with beginning tails for regular stitches where you're working in the top portion of your stitch that are square. So single crochet, double crochet, bead stitches, anything like that where you're working in the V portion of your stitch. So for a square pattern, you're going to go ahead and lay your foundation of chains or foundation stitches and then turn your work and start working your stitch going back towards your tail. And so I've made it to my last little stitch here before my tail, and I'm working single crochets. So what I'm going to do is start the beginning of my stitch, and when you get down to the last 2 loops of your stitch like this, take that beginning tail and just line it up with your stitches like this. So you're going to work right over it to complete that last stitch here. And then I'm going to place my chain 1, and then I'm going to turn my work around. And from here, you're going to grab that starting tail and line it up with your row of stitches. So I'm skipping this turning chain and I'm just going to dive right into that first stitch, and I'm going to place my single crochet and just make sure I've lined my tail up with my stitch. So from here, I'm just going to crochet right over it like it's part of my stitch. And I'm just going to do that until it's completely hidden in my project. And you can follow this same method to hide tails when changing colors in these linear patterns. So now you can see here that we have completely hidden our beginning tail on both sides of our project. So this is great for blankets or anything where you're going to be using both sides. And so now I'm going to show you how to work over a beginning tail in a circular pattern. So basically, after you place your first row of stitches over your magic circle, you're just going to line your tail up with your stitches like this. And so in this example, I'm going to place a slip stitch. So I'm just going to slide my crochet hook in that first stitch and then line my beginning tail up with the stitch and work right over it. Then I'm going to place a chain stitch, and then you can just work right over your tail. And this is going to be for any stitch where you work in the top of your stitch. And you can also follow this same method to hide tails when changing colors in the round. So as you can see here, our beginning tail is completely hidden under our stitches. And you're going to want to use this next method for any stitch where you don't work in the top portion of your stitch or that V. And this applies to both in the round and linear projects. And the example I am using is from a poncho that I am currently making, and this poncho is made up of front and back post stitches, so you're working around the stem of the stitch instead of in the top portion. So what we're going to do is take our starting tail and we're going to weave it in and out of the top of our row of stitches. So literally just like you would if you were going to cinch something up. So you're just going in and out of every stitch in your last row. And you're just going to do this until your tail disappears. So once you get close to the end of your tail, I want you to just take your project and give it a little tug like that. Because what you don't want is for somebody to put this on and for it to stretch a little bit and then your tail pops out. So we want to account for that by just tugging on our tail a little bit. And to hide tails at the very end of a project, or if you're changing colors in stitches that don't work in the top portion of the stitch, then follow this next method for hiding your tails. After cutting off your tail, weave it back through the last row, working in the opposite direction that you were crocheting. So once you get close to the end of your tail, I want you to just take your project and give it a little tug like that. And this last example shows how to hide ending or beginning tails in projects with handles or with an edge where you really don't want that tail to pop out. So when it comes to hiding these tails, If you have a body of your project like this, this is the body of my purse. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to weave my tail in and out of my last row of stitches for a few stitches. And of course, you could just continue to weave this on a non-supporting edge like this, and it would probably be fine. But for me, I want to hide the rest of my tail on the inside of my project here to really make sure that it doesn't show up around the edge of my purse. So I grabbed my small crochet hook, and what I'm going to do is just draw my tail down the inside of this bag to hide it. And this is by far my least favorite way to hide tails, but it's very effective. And a combination of going down and sideways will make this a little less visible. And when your tail is barely sticking out like this, I usually stop hiding it and leave it like that as long as I'm on the inside of my project. And so that is how you hide any tail. And if this video helped you out, don't forget to subscribe to my channel, Crochet with Julie, if you're interested in more crochet patterns, crochet pattern tutorials, and crochet stitch tutorials. Thank you so much for working with me, and I hope you have a wonderful, awesome day.